What's up, QAA listeners?
The fun games have begun.
I found a way to connect to the internet. I'm sorry, boy. Welcome, listener, to Premium Chapter 218 of the QAnon Anonymous podcast, the Jake's Takes, Liv's Gives, and Logan's Slogans, Volume 3 episode. As always, we are your hosts, Jake Rockatansky,
Liv Agar,
and Travis View.
Well, folks, here we are again. You've asked for it or not. But as the QAA podcast's workload intensely increases and the hosts are found with less and less time to generate their normal 6,000 to 7,000 word script, here we are instead with a smorgasbord of great to bad takes from your favorite QAA hosts, myself, Travis View, and Liv Agar. How's everybody doing today?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm happy that people have asked for what I also want, which is less work.
Yeah.
It's a perfect coinciding of interests.
Well, what's funny about it is it's less work in the prep, but more work in the actual recording, since I don't have like a beautifully crafted script to read from. And so instead, I don't get to be in charge of the jokes that I make that I planned out, the night before when I was writing. It's kind of going to be on the fly, which, hit or miss. And I think we're all okay with that.
More emotional labor than the previous, I think.
Joining us for the first ever Jake's Takes is QAA host Travis View.
Yeah.
So very excited to have you, Travis, for, these, our takes on our listeners' most pertinent questions. So welcome to the show.
Yes, always a pleasure. I'm glad I can be here so you don't have to, speculate about my nature like you did on the first Jake's Takes. But I'm glad to finally join on the third one.
Hold on one sec. What kind of speculation did we do? What do we say?
I can't remember.
No, you started speculating about whether or not I listen to the episodes, and I do, man. It's my show. I care about it. Of course, I listen to all the episodes, even the ones that I'm not on. I don't always talk about it, but I listen and I care.
Travis has eyes everywhere.
That is very nice. I don't listen to all of the episodes. I've been listening to more episodes recently, and it's an all right podcast. I mean, it's guaranteed for three or four big laughs, I think.
Don't call our own podcast an all right podcast, man.
It's worth $5 a month.
Yeah, it's worth $5.
Yeah, realistically, I think our podcast is really good. I mean, honestly, if I wasn't a part of this show, because for years and years and years, I laid in my bed at night trying to find great conspiracy themed podcasts to listen to, and a lot of them just end up, we're three Australian guys with bad microphones, just kind of sitting in what really just felt like, even through the audio, like a dark room with a red light on in it. Mm-hmm. So I think if I wasn't a part of this show, I probably would be a fan of this show.
Yeah, I agree.
If that makes any sense.
I was a listener before I got on board, so I will say I agree. It's a listenable podcast that is worth being a fan of.
Wait, you were listening just as just a person in Canada who so how did you find us?
I think it was online stuff. I feel like you guys were mutuals with some people I knew. Jordan Mule is an example.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he was one of our earliest guests.
We love Jordan.
Friend of the show.
I had the pleasure of meeting Jordan in real life at the DC show, and he gave me some sick Magic the Gathering pins that I have that I've added to my little shelf of collection of trinkets and trinkets.
That's a good, very specific gift. I feel like a lot of people would not be fazed by that offer. But it was smart of him. Well, I guess he understands.
He knew the key. That's the key to my heart. Magic card trinkets, anything Ghostbusters related. I'll take turtle stuff. So to open this episode, so basically all three of us have kind of brought things that either we have a take on that we want to talk about, or things that listeners have written to us and asked for our take on. And for this episode, I really wanted to keep it apolitical because we talk about politics so much. We're ramping up into what's going to be a rabid election cycle, I am sure. And so I thought that it would be more fun to just kind of, talk about regular stuff, like how we like our pizza and like what movies we think are great and bad, and how we feel about certain clothing items. I just felt like it would be nice to sort of mix it up for a change and not be forced to watch 11-minute like 11-minute YouTube video of like a guy with a one-string banjo recreating the national anthem but like making up lyrics that are specific to Donald Trump or QAnon.
A guy who surely would have been a part of some very bad organizations if he lived in Germany in the 30s.
Sure. Yeah, a guy who would have loaned his musical talents to a
Riefenstahl.
Yeah, a Reich of some sort. So let's start off. So Liv, you have brought some takes that we're going to talk about, and then you are going to be premiering the much asked for segment, Liv's Gives.
Yes.
So why don't you kick it off? What do we got? What are we talking about?
Yes, so Liv's Gives is going to be a little segment of things I've noticed on the internet, content I've found that I think is just neat, just a little bit interesting, something I've been unable to kind of apply in any other context in the podcast or other content.
Or just like out in your real life, or like on either of your Twitch stream or your podcast. So
yes, I tell my girlfriend, she says she doesn't care. Stop telling me about these weird things. I need some outlet to put them in.
Yeah, you need to speak into a microphone where you're getting no reaction from the listeners. Yeah, to validate your points of view.
Of course. But first, I want to start off with just a little update on what I've been up to recently, because it kind of relates to what we were talking about in previous Jake's takes. Firstly, relates to the series of kind of absurd or ridiculous injuries that I've experienced recently, because I have a new one, notch on the bed, so to speak.
Wait, this is a different injury from being frightened and startled by a small dog on an unfortunate staircase.
I am willing to say that it may be a bit even more absurd than that injury.
All right, well, we're here for it.
We had the ridiculous sprained ankle that I couldn't walk on for like two months because I was running away from a very tiny dog. Then I had my zinc deficiency, which if you wanted an update on, I have been taking zinc supplements and I think my levels are good again. Got a lot more energy. It's great. I figured it out, so that's good.
Okay, so zinc levels are stabilizing.
Yes.
Okay.
I had the infected wisdom tooth, which was just because it was hard to reach. It's very unfortunate.
Oh, that's a really bad one. Yeah. What was it? Really painful?
Oh yeah, it sucked. They got me on codeine. I got
no.
You could tell how bad it was because I called my dentist and they were like, we don't really have time like in the next week to remove them, but like here's an over the phone codeine prescription.
Well,
just
now
give
I know
you
what
this serious drug. So you can
now
survive.
I know what to tell my dentist. Just call in.
I know that I had my wisdom teeth removed 10 years ago, but I think they're back and very infected.
Here's the plan. I'm going to call the dentist the week after Halloween when their office is surely overflowing with calls about sweet teeth and cavities. And I'm going to go, by the way, my wisdom tooth that you didn't pull 10 years ago because you told me that I was born with 2 missing adult teeth in my head and so I didn't need my wisdom teeth pulled, is actually infected now, and I'm gonna need that codeine prescription.
You get it pulled, and he's like, what is this? He's like, I don't know. I'm just a silly guy.
It's like a piece of like candy corn that I just like stuck in an empty space like in the back of my mouth, and they're like, whoa, this tooth is horribly discolored, yellow and orange. My God, man.
But the new one that I've gotten is the first broken bone that I've ever received.
Oh. No way.
I've never broken one so far in my life. I've a lot of absurd injuries, but no broken bones. And this one is a broken toe, which I guess isn't as bad because toes aren't too bad. It's in the middle. It didn't bend all weird, which is good. But I got it, and apparently this is possible. And maybe this is like something that's mundanely true for some people. I kind of feel like a child not knowing a basic fact about the world, but I got it just like stubbing it against my sofa because apparently you can break your toe doing that.
And so what happened? You thought like, oh, bad stuff, because everybody, I mean, let's talk about a stub toe. The pain doesn't really hit until about 15 seconds after the initial stubbing. So I'm guessing, so you hit it, you went, okay, this is going to hurt in about 15 seconds. Then it started to really hurt. And at what point were you like, I think this is not going to sort of go away.
I sort of knew it was bad because it hurt immediately, and it was like, oh, this one really hurts.
You were like, I really fucked up this time.
The story of how I got it specifically is also funny because like I cooked my girlfriend breakfast and I was like very excited to give it to her.
Yeah, that's nice.
So I just didn't look at where I was going, and then I didn't spill it though. I guess that's good.
But an ultimate fumble. You're trying to do something romantic. You've got the 2 plates. You're ready. You're about to serve. You know this puts you in a position of power in the relationship, and then boom,
Youch.
boom, broken toe on the sofa.
It's hard for me to tell with pain tolerance though, because one interesting thing with going on estrogen is it increases your pain tolerance by like I found a significant amount.
Interesting. This is why women can endure so much pain over their entire history.
I think probably something related to childbirth, so I feel like I'm gaming the system here.
Yeah, this is definitely a biohack for sure.
Yeah. Alpha male biohack to take more pain.
You have been listening to a sample of a premium episode of QAnon Anonymous.
We don't run any advertising on the show, and we'd like to keep it that way.
For $5 a month, you'll get access to this episode, a new one each week, and our entire library of premium episodes.
So head on over to patreon.com/QAnon Anonymous and subscribe.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I love you.
Jake loves you.